criminals. These horrible people. Just you see them on TV. There's not a brain cell among them, man. It's just and I don't know, man. So I have some thoughts on that whole situation too that took place in the Capitol. Um, it, it seems very suspicious to me that they were able to do that without the cops letting them do it. I've had some personal dealings with Hill cops, and it's a isolated, segregated division, a police force that only exists on the Hill. It's their own private police force that's just there. And they're rude. They're very rude. Even when you're like jaywalking and stuff like that, they're just very rude people. They have that attitude. The same like the courthouse cops when you're going into the court, going through the metal detectors, they're always rude too. They just get such an attitude, man. And it's that same thing. I don't know what it is about these people on these metal detectors, but in this situation here, there's a lot of different videos. Okay, not just the big popular ones, but there's a lot of videos I'm seeing from people I know that were there at this march, showing of the cops just letting them, waving them in. Letting them come right in. Now, so what could that be? Why would that happen, right? Well, one theory is that the Hill cops are Trump supporters, that these are right-wing guys and they're racist as well, and they were amongst friends there, all about and chummy with these other guys. There was some clashes back and forth, so it doesn't make sense. You wouldn't need, if there was some type of a intel operation, right, to allow this event to happen, to allow that takeover of the building to happen by this mob, which the mob seems largely uncoordinated and unsavvy as far as being in protests and being in rallies and stuff like that. They seem very inexperienced in all that. Although there were some militia types that came well equipped with guns, bombs, zip ties, tools to break into things. They were very well equipped. So you only need a small group to under the cover of this big giant mob, a small group of professionals to gain access to that building and let everybody else in. Okay? Now, the question is, are these, military trained, militia types, or even police trained militia types? Now, were the cops who let them by and allow this to go through, were these guys sympathizers? Or were perhaps deep state type intelligence operation? We just reach out to a couple of people, a couple of cops. You don't need the whole DC Hill cop department to pull this off. Although if it came from the top, the guy who resigned, it would be much easier if he was in on it. But you only really need a few guys, maybe 6 or 7, that maybe had prior intelligence work in the military and stuff like that. You contact them, discreetly and say, hey, listen, we got this operation going on. We need you to help out. And then they will give the nod to some close friends that they know they can trust. And now you got enough people that are going to keep their mouth shut and let this operation go. I even got some wind of a couple of remarks from some people who would know and understand what's going on. You got to understand, too, we were getting tweets and messages and texts and stuff like that from Victoria's friends that are Hill turns. The kids who intern on the Hill are called Hill turns. And she knows a bunch of them. So we were getting real-time information on all this stuff as it was going on. And we even heard about the whole thing about the 25th Amendment being discussed that night in the White House. So we got some really good sources these days. Now, who would have, if it was an operation, right, some type of intelligence agency operation to allow this to happen, would it be Trump and the right-wing conservative nuts? I don't think so, because a lot of the senators in there were conservative right-wing nuts, and they wouldn't go along with that, right? But perhaps, but then again, too, then I was thinking, well, maybe it's the Democrats. maybe the Democrats, Biden and the Democrats, pulled this off in order to discredit Trump and discredit the whole MAGA movement. And then they can use this as a big point to the sense that, look at them, they're criminals. Look at them, we need to impeach Trump. We need the 25th Amendment. But then again, they're putting themselves in danger, their own selves, because it's an angry mob, and they barely made it out of there, You see some of these videos, man. They had a guy on MSNBC tonight. I don't know his name, but there was a certain door that they were guarding. That was their last escape route. And if these guys had gotten through that door, they could have surrounded the whole Senate floor there, and held hostages. They had the zip ties, they had the equipment. So anyway, terrifying situation. And something I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. We would have a mob of violent criminals, breaking into the Capitol building, Now, it's kind of, it's interesting. I was talking to Pierce Redmond tonight. We taped an hour earlier today, talking about this and all different topics of the day. And he was saying about how on that phone call with Trump and the Secretary of State of Georgia, how Trump sounded so impotent, begging for these 11,000 votes and crying for them and all this, and then trying to make a threat that, you guys are legally responsible. You could be held responsible for this legally. It's threatening them with arrest. Whoa. Careful. Hey. And he was saying how impotent Trump sounded. But the thing is, can we really call this man impotent when he can inspire this many people to riot for him on his behalf? Not everybody can pull that off, But somehow they've gotten this massive people on the internet to follow every word, every hysterical, crazy theory that just makes no sense, and now has them mobilized in such a way, to such a point, that they're actually taking serious action. It's one of the most serious actions we've seen. And by the way, too, I don't know if I did this on the air, but I predicted, I definitely did it on Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that, his plan was for a Bundy-style standoff, okay? He couldn't get the military to go along with him. He couldn't get the Homeland Security, or anybody, even a bunch of mercenaries that Rudy put together to invade Venezuela earlier in the year. He couldn't even put together a group like that were put down by angry fishermen, this time, but he thought he had the Proud Boys. He thought he had these guys. And it seems, too, by the way, too, that Rudy Giuliani has been in contact with some of these leaderships of these this QAnon shaman and stuff. So, hey, what is my final conclusion on this? I think that Trump and Trump Jr. and that Guilfoyle woman, they were all enjoying it a little bit too much for it to be that they, I don't know, that it was some kind of I don't know. I really can't tell you, where I land on this yet. I'm not 100% able to come up with a conclusion to all this. Before I move on to the next topic, which is Lin Wood. Okay, Lin Wood, who by coincidence, man, I just happen to be talking about this guy, and he's just gone over the cliff. He's also been banned. Lin Wood and Sidney Powell and Michael Flynn have all also been banned on Twitter. This is a sad night in Twitter land, Because earlier in the day, Michael Flynn gave this a message, and he was saying about, oh, well, the fight's over, but, we fought a good fight, and now Biden's going to be president. So I posted to him, and I said, but what about rounding up the pedophiles? What about all the indictments, the sealed indictments? What happened to all of that? Just give up? We tried. Sorry. Right? And I got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of likes and retweets and nasty comments. People people trying to tell me about the Epstein. Oh, we rounded up Epstein. We shut down. You shut down Epstein. Okay, thanks a lot. Good luck, buddy. Anyway, so Flynn's been taken down. Sidney Powell's been taken down, and also Lin Wood. I just happened to be talking about Lin Wood last week with a guest because we were talking about Elon Musk. And Lin Wood was involved in a defamation lawsuit against Elon Musk. How he lost this lawsuit, I do not know. I'm no Lin Wood, but I've been involved with several defamation, slander, libel lawsuits, and I can't see how you could lose this one. Now, Lin Wood came first to public attention when he was representing the Ramseys, okay, and he sued many tabloids and publications for defamation of the Ramseys for years. And he won very successfully. Very litigious guy, by the way, too. Now, one of the first things that popped up about Lin Wood is he started calling out Mark Meadows, the president's chief of staff, and talking about how Mark Meadows was having an affair with a woman that works with him at the White House. Okay? Well, what is this? And all this stuff, by the way, it happens like after midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, when those real good tweets start coming out. I wonder why. So Lin Wood starts tweeting about Mark Meadows. Then he starts saying, we need to arrest Mike Pence is a traitor. We need to arrest Mike Pence and execute him. He's calling for an execution of the Vice President of the United States of America, a licensed attorney in Georgia, the president's attorney. He is a pro-Trump attorney working on behalf of the President of the United States, filing election-related lawsuits in Georgia, calling for the arrest and execution of Mike Pence, calling out adulterers who were working at the White House. What was the other one he was doing? He also claims that Chief Justice Roberts was on Epstein's plane and was involved with Epstein and selling, and he gets this from a source from a guy who was like a drug dealer who went to prison, came out, and suddenly became an insider, had all this inside information, another QAnon type, that suddenly, skyrocketed to stardom, these characters, internet grifters. So then what comes out is Lin Wood's former business partners, law partners, and employees at his law firm file a lawsuit against him. They released this, I think it was like January 1st or something like that. It just came out. This is all crashing out this week. People start questioning Lin Wood's, the president's attorney, start questioning his sanity, okay? And, I was holding back. I wasn't openly insulting the guy. But, I got some respect for it. But, the guy was really writing some crazy stuff. And he started executing the vice president. You're out there. Okay, God bless him. Now, his law partners and former employees file a lawsuit. Now, you can find this on my Patreon for free. Okay? I put up whenever I get a document. In fact, I got another document too. Yeah, where the Detroit court is referring him and Sidney Powell for disbarment and financial sanctions for their behavior in the lawsuits. So it's a Rule 11. Rule 11 means when you go into court, you got to bring evidence with you. You can't just say things and make things up. And so they're both being called on the carpet here with this. So I got that from the New York Times reporter. I should know his name. I apologize. Who broke that story? He wrote a book about El Chapo. So I contacted him. I said, "Come on the show. You want to come on the show?" And he says, "Yeah, I'll come on the show tomorrow." This is why I got no content this week. And I says, "Hey, can you send me the complaint, the referral?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, no problem." This guy just got a big giant scoop from this thing, and he sent it to me for nothing. Like just being a nice guy. I'll give him credit next week, but that's for free. You can find that for free on my Patreon. Okay, and there's a bunch of docs that the OSU complaint is on there for free too. A lot of stuff on there is for free. And also sometimes too, I'll make like a little announcement or something. Oh, that's right. I want to make an announcement tonight. I'm trying to get to it, but I'm interrupting myself. I can't even get a word in edgewise because I keep talking so much about Lin Wood. So in this complaint, the one by his partners and his employees, they describe an incident. And by the way, they have taped recordings of him saying and doing these things. This isn't even allegations because he would leave voicemails. One is where he beat up a guy, he physically battered some guy in an elevator for no reason, and then later on admitted, you know what, I had no reason for doing that. Then he did it a second time.